Greetings, D&D players, enthusiasts, and observers alike, and welcome back to Chronicles of Kriyath. My name is Emma, and I will be your DM today and every day that this wonderful campaign exists. But today, we aren't necessarily playing a game. We just wrapped up our first arc of the campaign. So we figured we would sit down with you guys and kind of talk about it. Let you guys get to know us and what we're thinking about when we end all of our sessions in the process. So, rather than going around and introducing our players and our characters, let's go around for the first time and introduce just our players. So, we will start with, to my right, Andrew.
Alrighty, yep, I am Andrew. I've been playing D&D at least for quite some time, at least, gosh, it was like 6 years now, 5-ish years. Mostly DMing games, running games. Love me some Curse of Strahd. It's game-related things. Yeah.
Curse of Strahd was a fan favorite of all the campaigns that Andrew has DM'd, and
yes,
the one that I played in that he DM'd.
It is definitely many of my crowning moments as a dungeon master has been in that game, and I am grasping at straws trying to recreate even a similar thing in a homebrew. But
I'm sure you'll get there eventually. But we now move on to Nathan.
I also am blanking on things to say. Hi, I'm Nathan. I'm 27 years old. Blue eyes. I don't know.
Tell us about your D&D experience, Nathan.
Okay.
What's your ancestry?
Yeah, I've been playing D&D probably about the same time as Andrew there, about 5-6 years. I'd wanted to play for a long time and never knew anybody, and then I just was like, you know what? I'm going to learn to play this game, and looked it up, and I was like, hey, somebody has to run the game, and I was like, well, I guess I got to do that. So I learned how and took off from there, and been DMing ever since. Forever DM life. This is my first, I guess, long-term time as a player. Definitely the most time I've put in as a player is in this. So it's weird, but it's cool. Sometimes I can't tell if I like it more. I don't know that I do. But I enjoy it. I enjoy Rubo. So it works out.
Well, we definitely enjoy Rubo as well, and we're glad that you're here.
It's tough because when you're a DM so much, it's like I have to turn my brain off sometimes when we're playing because I'm like, don't I need to be doing something right now? I'm playing D&D. My brain should be on overdrive. But then I'm like, no, I need to just let the rest of my party do things and the DM do things and chill. And then I'm like, all right, I'm just hanging out for a second.
It's definitely weird to have downtime in the campaign when you're so used to being the DM and constantly doing things.
Yeah, it's you're when you're the DM, you're involved in everything that's happening the whole time. So there's no real downtime.
Definitely. But thank you, Nathan. And we now move on to Gia.
Hi, I'm Gia. Which perfectly transparent is a pseudonym I'm using. I'm a very private person, which is why you probably won't see me putting my face out on social media, at least not anytime soon. But that's okay. Everyone's okay with that, and I'm okay with that. But yes, I am Gia. I have been playing D&D for not quite as long as some of my other friends here. Only a few years. I'm pretty new to it, but I've been watching all kinds of streams and games for a really long time. I've always wanted to be involved, and my first game I got involved with was actually Nathan's, and I'm still playing with him as my DM, and it is fantastic and fun. And I played alongside with our current DM Emma, and I had quite a fun time with her as well. So I'm just having a great time with friends. But yeah, I write a lot in my spare time. I'm trying to write books under the same name, so maybe those will be out at one day. I'm very amateur drawing as well. I just have a lot of fun doing a lot of things. And
that was a lie. That was a lie.
She says amateur and then throws out beautiful drawings of the party.
It is amateur work. Amateur does not mean bad, but I am a beginner. But no, that is just a summary of what I'm about, of what I'm doing here.
Hell yeah. Gia, as she said, like, doesn't ever really post herself on her social media, but I'm sure if anybody wanted to see cool Chatwin art, if you're a Chatwin simp out there, you could follow her social media because it's very cool. I don't know your social media off the top of my head though.
Honestly, neither do I.
I can
Plug
look it up.
yourself, damn it.
It's
Hold on, I
either
think I can pull it up.
it's either JG Get, which is JGGHET, JG Get, which is a joke I used to make with my sibling about living in the ghetto. JG in the ghetto.
I think I found it. It's JG Get BB.
Yeah, JG Get BB.
So if you want to see Chatwin Sims want to see Chatwin, Gia posts very cool Chatwin art.
As of recording this, I'm almost done drawing the whole party as well.
Ooh.
So look out for that, I guess.
I was gonna say, we know that Rubo and Thelthu are also there,
Yeah.
but Elon
Yeah.
and Damien have not been completed yet.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of
she's
Damien.
not going to draw Damien because he's too simple for her tastes.
I don't know, man.
Or is he?
Speaking of Damien, let's talk to his player, Jeremy.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy. I am in the Navy currently, getting out in about a week and a half, just about, or 2 weeks. And I'm getting out on medical separation after a serious injury. But I've been playing D&D for over 20 years now. Oh, it makes me feel old. And he plays Damien. I'm Damien. I'm a blacksmith, a very simple man. Damien was a character that was somewhat inspired from the fact that I am a dad of 2 kids, right? Married to Rosie, who plays Elon. And it has a very nice feel to it for me. And then, our DM maliciously did some things to poor Damien.
Payback, bitch.
This is payback for me making one of her previous characters in a campaign eat her own mother because I'm sadistic.
Yeah, that was a mind fuck there, especially since my character, he was a centaur paladin named Danix who spent pretty much the entire campaign trying to protect his mother and keep her safe even if he couldn't be directly beside her the entire time. And so to have her story end like that hurt.
It didn't end like that, you know that. But yes, more or less. But I did it for a reason, and that was because your mother was the shackles that held your character back. You needed to break those shackles in order to actually, accomplish what you needed to.
That is fair.
I think there are other shackle breaking ways besides eating your own parental figure. That you love. But, I mean, just I don't know, maybe some other ways.
I tried to get rid of her 4 times, and every time the party got in the way.
She was supposed to die in the first session of the campaign, not gonna lie. But our cleric had a very lucky D100 roll and rolled 1 above the DC.
Yeah, the DC was I think 90. She rolled a 91 to talk to the divines to try and bring her back, and I was like, because I don't ever do a campaign where anything is impossible. But if you want to do something crazy, you got to do something crazy. Talking to the gods is crazy because if you roll really low, you get divine punishment. So
wild.
Anyway, now we're getting off topic and we're only in the player introductions. So, Rosie, get us back on track, please.
Hi guys, my name is Rosie. That is also a fake name. I don't care. My real name is actually Sarah, and the only one who calls me Sarah that I like calling me Sarah is my husband, Jeremy. Since we were doing a whole years thing, y'all made me actually have to sit down and think. I've been playing since freshman year in high school, and that's how long has me and Jeremy been married? Like 12 years. So it's probably around 15, 16 years. Jeremy's been playing since he was 3. So that's a thing. But I also do a little bit of drawing. I'm gonna say amateur art because fucking Gia puts out artwork in like one day that I wish I could accomplish in 1 month, and I can't even do that. But I'm not on social media because I like to just draw for friends, and I was trying to open a shop at one point. I have ADHD, so I cancel a lot of my projects. That's just how I am. But obviously, I'm a mom of two, and I jump from everything. I have been a failure to DM D&D, so I decided to try Monster Hearts, and that seems to be a success because I get to fuck with my players in a way that I want. But I've also played World of Darkness, in Nominee, and like one other different RPG. I like trying different things because it switches it up and you have fun with it. But that's pretty much me. I've been married to a sailor for all this fucking time, so you know.
For better or for worse.
Oh, and I also said I told everybody I was going to do this because we never get to do the thing with the power of editing. Fireball! Magic missile! Okay, that's all I wanted.
Oh boy.
We never get to use those sound effects, it feels, so I want to do it.
That's
Well, there's
fair.
lots of fire with Chatwin.
Sorry, I'll
There-
use
there is-
Fireball more often. I'll take that as a sign to use Fireball on everything all the time. Watch out, Emma.
You have to have the one fireball crazy spellcaster. So
Yeah.
And since I kind of skipped myself in the intro, I guess I'll wrap us up. But hi, since I haven't officially really introduced myself other than as the DM of this campaign, my name is Emma. I am 23 years old, and I've been playing D&D for about 7 years now. Soon be 8. I started playing when I lost a lot of friends in high school, and then a couple friends were like, "Hey, come to this after school club. We'll play D&D together." And I ended up seated at a table with 20 kids all trying to kill orcs at the same time. And though it was a nightmare, it was the beginning of my addiction to D&D. And so that, coupled with my journey into theater and acting, has led to this. So welcome to our crazy journey, and we're gonna get into some group discussion.
I just want to cut in and say that every time anybody introduces themselves like this, I just imagine it as like a very bad like dating reality show.
Oh my god.
Hi, I'm Nathan, 27 years old from such and such. I'm a data analyst, and I like, I don't know. It just sounds so-
And if you're looking for 12 inches, we'll have to go 12 rounds.
Oh my god.
I actually have a question. Could we all go around and say our ages? Because I'm now realizing that me and Jeremy are the oldies and you're all the youngies.
Fuck you, I'm not that old. I'm only 31.
You're about to turn 32.
Fuck you.
I'm 27, about to turn 28.
And I'm 23.
I am also 23.
I'll turn 31 in July. Hey, Gia's over there.
Come on, baby Gia.
I'm 21.
Oh, that's good. At least you can drink.
Yeah!
Yes.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
Yeah, fuck yeah!
Fun fact about me, before I get us back onto the D&D track, I stage managed a show at one point at 19, and I was the youngest. Not only was I the only woman in the entire cast and crew, I was also the youngest and the only one unable to drink at 19.
Oof.
And the
oof.
director, every night after rehearsal for the first week, was like, would look at me afterwards and be like, "Hey, do you want to go out and get a drink?" And then a couple seconds later be like, "Oh, right, you can't drink."
You know those guys that are always just like, "How old are you, girl?" You're like the girl who would have been like, "I'm 18." And everybody's like, "Okay, this is get a little bit." Or you would have said 17, just like, "Nope, hey, later, girl, bye."
I was born in the year 2000, guys.
Wow.
Shut up. Just shut up.
See, I know I'm not old because all of the older folks over here at the in the base in Virginia where I was at were just like, I've been in the Navy since 1974, 1988. I'm just like, Dope. You've been in the Navy longer than I've been alive. Not that old.
Hell yeah.
Not old yet.
That is completely fair.
30s is not old.
You know what? At least we can say we've seen the past, Gia.
I'm not entirely sure about the phrasing of that, but okay.
Don't ask any questions. Move along.
Okay.
Well, we have to ask questions in Q&A.
That's fair.
Oh, okay. Move along and
Speaking
ask
of
other questions.
questions,
Yeah.
how does everybody feel now that we're done with the first art?
Terrified for some reason.
Damien is going to go drink himself into oblivion because you're a sadistic woman.
I'm sad as hell.
You're welcome.
I'm
So
worried
funny.
for what's next. You know.
I'm so worried.
Horny question mark? Wait, never mind. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Whoa, whoa.
Damien
I'm-
is looking forward to bitch slapping someone to death.
I'm honestly like, how do you say it? Like, I'm honestly hoping that the characters have enough motivation to continue to travel with each other. That's really what I'm worried about, I guess, with the season. Other than that, like Aelon knows where he wants to go, and he's gonna try to drag the party for he's already dragged the party in on this. But I'm hoping that you guys have enough motivation to go or to continue doing that, working for, I guess, a goddess or whatever.
I've had that thought.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. I was like, huh. Based on what I was told and like where I think things are. I don't know how the party will stay together. I'm sure there's a reason.
Yeah.
Aelon's gonna
Okay.
give you guys somewhat
Yeah.
of a reason, but like, here's the point. Like, I know about, what is it, Escargot Island. Me as a player does, but I don't think fucking Aelon does. So I can't be like, let's go to Escargot Island, you know. But so that's the disconnect. But I mean, I feel like it's gonna be like a lot of role play just to get there. Unfortunately.
Nathan knows that Chatwin needs to buy a fancy hat, and he's
Yeah.
just waiting for that day.
I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, in terms of like motivation for staying with the party and stuff, it's not like Chatwin doesn't have motivation to go and do things. She has her little list that she would like to accomplish, but it's not like, oh, I have motivation to complete this major goal. Her motivation is not doing certain things. Her motivation is denial. So honestly, there's no way to, at this current moment, even though it seems like things are going very badly for Chatwin recently, honestly, in hindsight, in comparison, it's not that bad. She doesn't. So far, nothing could sway her away from continuing down the path with the party, because it's helping her accomplish her goal of avoidance.
Yeah, I mean, Rubo's not
Mhm.
going anywhere. One, Rubo's gonna follow Aelon's fine ass like to the ends of the earth.
God damn it.
And then Damien is Rubo's father in Rubo's eyes. So, I mean, he's got to get his dad to come with him. And then Chatwin's his best buddy. So,
Yeah.
like, that's happening. My thoughts is like although I feel like Rubo hasn't had, except for in this last session, any like direct contact. I feel like looking at it, I'm like, what is Thialthu gonna want to do? That's really where like I'm fine. Like I can causation a reason for like Rubo to follow everyone, and like Rubo doesn't want Thialthu to go anywhere, but I feel like Thialthu had his one thing to do, and I guess we'll find out. But he's like, what does Thialthu want to do now? Is he gonna be like, bye guys, or
Yeah.
is
New
he gonna be like,
character?
I guess I'll hang out with you fools?
Well, I mean, think about it. He had that issue with the god, like with Damien's wife. So going to the gods could be a thing.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean, I think it came up last time when I was like, oh, how do I reconnect? Like, that's his goal. And I hope it aligns where the party's going. Because right now, top of his list is go to a temple and figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, I guess everyone doesn't have a set goal besides Aelon and whatever mission, but
Also, like, Chatwin and Thelthu have this little, nice connection now that I hope
Yeah.
will build in the
Mhm.
future.
I really like that. Can I just say, I really liked the moments of when they were sitting in camp and just that quiet moment of like, because in session one, because Theothu is a very outwardly strange looking individual. In session one, if I'm remembering correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I made some sort of check to discern Theothu's sort of like nature. And you said something along the lines of, you've seen people come back differently and you've seen it affect them different ways.
Mm-hmm. I
And
did.
so I think from the very beginning, Chatwin had an inkling of Theothu and her, like Theothu and I are similar in some way. And so I really liked that last moment in when they were sitting in the camp after they first met Elon, of Chatwin just directly asking, "Are you like me?" And it's never been, they kind of got more direct with it recently, but they've never directly stated, oh, going like, oh, hey, I'm undead, how would you die, this is how I died. Like, we haven't like directly discussed it, but there's a sort of unspoken understanding between Theothu and Chatwin right now that I'm really into, and I'm really interested to see where it leads. And like, everyone else knows, but we don't know that they know because of Rubo detected that they were undead somehow. So everyone knows that there's something kind of up with them, but only Theothu and Chatwin really know what it is. And it's just a cool relationship of just nobody saying anything, but everyone kind of knowing something that I'm really liking, and I really can't wait to see what happens with it. It's something, it's exactly what I was hoping for when I heard that you were playing Reborn as well.
No, yeah. It's definitely been interesting seeing kind of, because nobody in this group built their characters thinking about everyone else. The only thing I think we all really discussed was like, we passed around like what class everyone was like race and class, and then stories weren't really built around anybody else. It was just like everyone's crazy ideas came together in the session, in the first session, and it's been interesting to see how you guys have all meshed together. Although Rosie, Elon did come in a bit late.
My bad.
So it's fine. But like, how has it been kind of coming into a pre-established party?
In the time I have known you, almost every game I've joined has already been pre-established, and it works out. It's my thing at this point. Also, having characters with a name AE in the beginning. um, but honestly, like, you gave me such a good, interesting little like pre-episode that I suddenly had this bigger outlook for Elon, because Elon is he's very boring as a real, like, a person. He's just a guard, in my opinion, who's just got some mommy daddy issues. Family issues is a better way to put it. But like, it gave him reason to come into this group and actually try and do something, and the way everything happened made for it was just normal D&D story to now something's cooking up, and it actually it's a lot more interesting. So it was fun for me. I'm used to it. But I mean, I'm hoping you guys are okay that I came in that late.
This spurs a question from me, Nathan, to I guess Rosie / Elon, of do, without spoiling too much, I guess I'm not trying to get too many spoilers going too quick here, but is there more to? Is there actually more to Elon, or is this I'm just a guard thing, like a persona that's put up?
So the guard thing is he wasn't allowed to do anything in his family life. And I mean, he doesn't have magic, so he couldn't have been useful that way. So if I could put it in a way, I guess it's that the guard thing was his escape to actually do something with his life. And it was also his first defiant moment against his family. And as you say, is there more something to him? My answer for you is there's something less to him. That is the only
Weird.
clue I give you. Look at Emma smiling. She knows.
There's a lot.
I know
to
all the
Aelon.
secrets,
I just don't know about the
so
personality.
It's not as big as you would hope to be. It's not as big as I would hope to be.
Wait. It's not as. All right, that's
oh
gonna
my
suck.
god, Nathan. I hate you.
As soon as the whole episode of Aelon going to take off his makeup is over, I messaged Emma and I was like, "How much you want to bet everyone thinks I'm a girl now? That Aelon's a girl?"
Okay. Actually, Nathan will be disappointed if Aelon was a girl.
He's not a girl. I will correct
Fuck
that.
yeah.
But like the
okay.
thing that makes him, I guess, secretive and stuff is not like all of you are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" To
Mm.
him, it's a very big thing. Sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I had a theory, but now I'm less certain of it, and I don't wanna say it if it does come up true, but I just want to know that I have a specific thought.
You can message me in
Yeah.
Discord, yeah.
I have my own specific theory, but I'm just gonna sit and wait and see if I'm right.
How about this? I will turn off my camera so you can't see my face. Y'all can say it. Go ahead.
Nah, just I want to see this play out. See how close I am.
Nathan has decided not to read into it because Rubo would not know. I just feel like it's not on Rubo's level to like figure things out. So I've decided Nathan's not going to read into it and try to come up with theories because it makes me more true to my character.
Damien's not going to look into it much either.
I know.
Aelon is Aelon.
But I am stoked that Aelon is not act because I think I did have that thought for a second of like, what if Aelon was that like I don't know I guess I don't know if that's like a trope, but the kind of like I don't know like Mulan-esque thing, right? Of like wants to be in the guard, but it's a very manly thing. So like the girl dresses like a guy kind of thing. And I was like, I don't like this because I was like, I personally think it's cool for Rubo's story that he's crushing on Aelon and Aelon's dude.
I like the guess, Andrew. No, Aelon is not a changeling.
Dang.
It's a really good guess, though.
I say, as someone who played a changeling for a long-term campaign and would, in theory, act a similar way in terms of ensuring that the true face was never revealed, and almost as if taking off makeup would be reverting to the normal form for him.
I mean, if Rubo and Aelon do end up becoming a thing, yeah, I like the whole pride thing. So, like, really, you know. So don't worry, he's not a girl.
You told me at one point that there's a lot Rubo has to break through. I guess what everyone else doesn't know is that I think there's a lot Aelon needs to break through too. On the reverse, there's a lot to work through on both sides before I think before Rulon becomes a thing.
Rulon, god fucking damn it, I forgot about that.
Yes, we named the ship, guys.
Yeah,
it is Rulon.
It fits
Nathan did a graphic of like a little rainbow and heart. It said Rulon forever, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, whether or not that does become a thing, I like the contrast between what it would be towards like end of campaign and what it is now. Because what it is now is just Rubo being like a little fucking creep.
Yeah,
just being like
much.
a schoolboy, like, oh, I'm do you know what love is? Like being so like infatuated, like just like this young kid first time, like definitely not in love with this guy, but it's just like, oh, this is what love must feel like. Like, I love that comparing to what if that relationship does progress, what it would actually be like gaining that mutual respect for one another and breaking down opposing walls and stuff.
Hey, can we just acknowledge that Rubo and Aelon would be such a hot couple?
Oh, absolutely.
A hot ass couple.
I also want to clarify one thing. This was not planned. Nathan made a little joke of, y'all don't know that Rubo's straight.
Yeah.
And I jumped into that,
Which
and
I
I've
knew.
never blushed so high. I've never blushed that much. I was like, oh, lord. I flirted with Emma's character, like in a game.
See, because I knew the Rubo was going to be a flirt right from the start, but it just happened that it was like a female NPCs thrown in front of Rubo to start. But I had every intention that Rubo would flirt with like whatever gender, like species, like Rubo doesn't care.
Rubo's
Like
open.
that's what Rubo does.
I love it. I love Rubo. I can't wait to explore his heritage. I've said that before. I'll say it again.
Yes. There will be plenty for us to explore later on, but I do want to get into, we did have a couple of our friends who are listeners and fans give us some very specific questions from the audience. So as this becomes a regular thing, we will give you guys a chance to submit more questions, but I will give a shout out to the two who did give us questions for this that I will have us go around and answer. So thank you to TJ and Auden for submitting some questions for us. We really appreciate it. And for those of you who want to get involved next time, we will come up with a way as we get towards the end of Arc 2 for you guys to submit questions for us. And as we get towards the end of recording that, we'll talk about as an announcement post session how to get involved with that. But anyway, it wouldn't be a Chronicles of Kriath episode without some dice rolls. So I'm going to have everyone roll a d20 for our question order. Who gets asked their questions first?
Ready?
Going highest number?
Yeah.
It gets asked first.
Natural
You're-
20.
Oh my
Fuck
gosh.
Yeah.
So, before we go into order, which I will write down, I'm gonna roll a d4 for who goes first. Evens highest goes first, odds lowest goes first. That is a 1 on the d4, so lowest goes first. What
Sorry,
everybody
Nathan.
roll?
I'm going last.
I rolled a 9.
I've got a natural 20.
Jesus.
What the
Two.
fuck? On
Ooh.
Friday the
Two of
13th?
Roll
Spicy.
again. Roll again.
Oh
Both
my
of you.
gosh.
Roll
Oh,
off.
roll off? Roll off? Fuck.
Mhm.
Should I change? No, I'm not changing die.
That would be a 10.
That's a 17 for me.
Ah, I rolled a 17. Nathan.
No, I think
Well,
we
it's-
still get to go last. He gets to go second to last now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
no,
still
I'm
count
using
our natural 20s.
I'm using roll 20 to roll.
Mm.
Gotcha. Okay, did anyone get lower than a 9?
I got a 9.
Rosie, you and I will have to do a roll off because I also rolled a 9.
Oh,
And
fuck
yes,
off.
the DM has questions, so
Spicy.
I'm
All right,
including
here.
myself in this.
I got a 12.
11. So I guess I go first.
Woohoo.
So our order is Emma, Rosie, Andrew, Gia, Nathan,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
I think because I got a 13.
Nathan,
No, I'm
Jeremy?
going last.
What'd you get, Gia?
I got a 17.
Okay. For full order, it is myself, then Rosie, Andrew, Gia, Jeremy, and Nathan is our order of questions.
Hell yeah, I got that last place.
So we get to jump into the some interesting questions first. So my first question is, how rare are lizard folk on the continent/country? It doesn't seem like anyone has heard of them, or is that because they tend to keep to themselves like the Fae? Which is a really interesting question. Lizard folk actually aren't that rare. It's more the way I designed the world, which, fun fact, the reason I keep referring to it as the world and I don't give it a name is because it has no name. The gods were so busy planning everything, they didn't give it a name. So my hope is that at some point
That just
during the
seems
campaign,
Poor planned.
my hope is that sometime during the campaign itself, it inherits a name. But
Can we call it Fart?
oh my god.
River,
Nathan, what
no.
the fuck?
Do we get to name it? Is that part of our campaign? We get to
It-
name
my
the world?
God.
Ignore the child. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
So it's called Fart.
Guys,
No.
Fart is a great name.
God.
This is not
The
catchy
the
enough.
hope was that you guys would name it, yes, but
Oh, first vote for Fart. I'm just putting it out there.
God damn.
Can I
I'm not saying
also
I'm going
kind
to
of
win, but I'm going to cast my vote.
can I also clarify on your question that just Elon doesn't know racist?
and that was what I was gonna get into, is that it really depends on where all the characters are from. Because lizard folk in general, like, they can show up other places, they definitely do live other places, but the main places in the world they reside are what's called the Howling Dunes, which is a desert, sort of a desert climate region of the continent.
That's where Rubo's from.
That is where Rubo's from. And that is also where Chatwin is from.
Fucking Chatwin.
Oh shit, you're
Copying
right.
me at every turn.
Yes.
I totally didn't connect
So-
it.
So they have areas where they live in the Howling Dunes, and they live in what's called the Snakeskin Fields, which is where a lot of the animalistic races, like Aarakocra, centaurs, basically any races with animalistic features are the ones that are sort of originate from there very heavily. So that is also a place where they've originated from. But they can be seen other places. The reason that they're not super familiar to a lot of the characters is based on where they're from. Like Damien, for example, I'll use the two characters that were asking the most questions about Thelthu. Damien is from a tiny mountain village that most people who reside there have never left there. So most of them, like, they're all basically human, so they're not gonna know anything about the strange people. Like, it's a little easier for them to be like, oh, that person has pointed ears, that's cool, whereas seeing an entire lizard person is gonna be a little jarring. Same thing with Elon. He lives in a city that is very, like, there are a few select races in that city.
We are
but
racist.
No one's...
We are racist in Kriath.
Kriath is yes, Kriath as it's built is inherently racist, but the rest of the world isn't. It's kind of one of those walled off like sections that
Segregation, I guess.
the best way to put it is that it sort of sealed itself off from the world and did not progress in the way that the rest of the world did in not caring what other people look like. So that is a system for our players to topple another day.
It's the
I will put
gated
it that way.
community of
God, I can't wait
your
to
world.
topple that system. God, I cannot wait to just fucking destroy Kriath.
When y'all toppled the mayor, I just looked at Emma and I was like, Emma, Kriath is in so much danger.
I'm sorry, but Chatwin Anarchist Darcy is going to fucking eat Kriath for breakfast. I
Us
cannot
destroying that
wait.
little small town mayor for just being kind of like a dick is like Kriath like shaking in their boots watching.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I cannot fucking wait.
You could-
But second question, and my last question. We've met the youngest of the goddesses of fate. What are the other gods in the pantheon besides the sisters? So that's fun because the players have gotten all this backstory, but I have not had a chance to give it to all of you yet. So I will give very quick descriptions, because there are the three goddesses of fate, which are Faithrin, Destinan, and Carmaren. They resemble past, present, and future in that order. We also, for the rest of the gods and goddesses, we have Angunda, who is the goddess of peace and war, Canmot, who is the god of life and death, Horikosh, which is the god that Thelthu worships, who is the god of time and space.
Chilling god who loves stars.
Mm-hmm. There is as has been mentioned, we have the god Morikyo, who is the god of wilderness and civilization. We have Tynera, who is the goddess of the arcane and the divine magics. And then on top of that, we also have 4 angels and 4 demons, who, unlike the gods, who have sort of 2 opposing ideas that they worship or focus on, they focus on, there's a duality between angel and demon. So an angel carries one side of the duality, and a demon carries that other opposing duality. So for our angels, we have Amoros, who is the angelic deity of love and affection. We have Adoros, who is the angelic goddess of joy and pleasure. Rapharos, the angelic god of healing and medicine. And Thamoros, the angelic goddess of law and justice. And opposing them, we have Akron, who is the demon god of pain and torture. Malion, the demon god of plague and disease. Marinian, the demon goddess of anarchy and rebellion. And Odirian, the demon god of anger and hatred. So, Elon, I didn't necessarily get any fan questions for you since you're a little newer to the party.
Yeah, fuck all you fans. It's fine.
Oh my god. let's not say that.
No, I'm on board. Fuck them. I hate them all. Just kidding.
But since we've been talking about Elon and Rubo's relationship a bit tonight, how is Elon feeling about all the flirting and attention he's getting from Rubo?
Ooh, I like this question.
Has he noticed or not?
Of course, that's the question.
Oh, things get spicy right off the bat.
Every now and then I do roll if Rubo does anything. So far, the only thing that's really come to fruition is when Rubo basically capadonned Elon onto the ground. But I'm trying to, maybe I'm doing it a little too fast. But if you notice, Elon's been asking questions, like namely Damien, like, is that normal for 2 girls to be together? Elon's got to get past the whole, because in his family he's hasn't been told this, but he has understood it as, you will not marry and have children unless it benefits us. So that's the whole issue with that. It's so hard to say at this point. He's noticed once. Other than that, like, every time, I hope I haven't cut it. I know I haven't cut it. I don't know about other editors, but mostly it's Elon going, what? Okay. Like, because, like, there's comments and Elon's just like, what? I would say that, like, probably among other guards, they've kind of, like, flirted and made fun and stuff like that, like, I guess, locker room crap. But so he's probably used to that with other friends. So with this group, he's going to probably translate this as they're just making fun. But I don't, it's so hard to say because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Here's my question, and maybe this is for Elon's deep, dark subconscious. Does Elon find Rubo attractive?
Oof.
I don't think Elon finds anybody attractive except for Aliana. Because Aliana is very different and was, like, the first secretive thing to really introduce him into this new type of world. And it's not that he's attracted to her because she's a girl or a fairy, just because she was something new.
Oh, Rubo will show you something new.
Oh my fucking god. Like, I'm all about the yaoi, man.
The banter never ceases here.
That's all I got for you.
And that is also all I have for you, unfortunately. But
fuckers.
Hopefully
we're starting this canon that Rosie hates the listeners.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in now. It's fine. Fuckers.
Okay then.
I mean, I tell my husband I hate him occasionally too, but I mean,
She's the bad guy of the podcast.
it's a very sarcastic I hate you.
hold on, Emma. What I've told you multiple times. What do I call my friends?
Bitch.
Yeah, I call my friends bitches. If I say you're such a fucking bitch or something, that's because I like you. It's very weird.
So all of you get the hateful introduction to friendship here. But we will move on to Andrew.
Oh boy, it's me.
I also didn't get any specific fan questions for you, but this was an interesting one that we didn't really fully discuss, but was a very big moment for Thelthu in our last episode that I think a lot of people are going to want to kind of know about. What was kind of going through both your head as a player and Thelthu's head as he attempted to lay Damien's wife to rest?
So okay, yeah. I think the story starts out of character and maybe a little bit in as well, because we fought zombies before and they generally weren't too tough, and maybe it was a slight miscalculation on my part, not realizing how much damage it had taken due to the shielded part of the fireballs meta magic nonsense, and just generally thinking like, well, they're zombies, it's whatever. So I think it stems from part of that meta, and then in game thinking, well, it's one zombie, how hard could it be? It'll just, it's a spell, it's done before. This has happened so many times where things just kind of turn to dust. And then the one spell and it failed. I'm like, okay, sure, one pit of damage, not terrible. I'm like, I did a second one, and then that wasn't enough. Now, when two spells from my understanding of cleric, like Guiding Bolt being radiant and good, which I guess a side note to that is the Guiding Bolts come from the Druid subclass as part of whatever the stars it is. The star map gives you the ability to cast Guiding Bolt X times equal to proficiency a day, as well as the ability to cast a spell at first level. So to me, that also comes from the Druid, so it's also slightly different than the Cleric spell list, but even though it's on the spell list. So the assumption was, okay, that's not working. Why would that not be working? I rolled something, I'm sure that was kept in, to be like, okay, no, this is a sign. This means something. What? I don't really know. But maybe Radiant isn't the way to go. Maybe turning it into the positive, quote unquote, I don't know. Thelthu probably realizes that as positive. I don't really know what exactly is happening to these bodies. But that, the stars was telling him, no, don't do that. Don't give it back in that way. Do something else, which I was like, all right, well, what else do I got? I'm like, inflict wounds, necrotic, the opposite of radiant damage. And then it worked. So there was that part of it. And then just, slight panic of, well, in character trying to figure out what it meant. And the spell's not working. This is literally terrible for poor Damien, which it was probably less. Thelthu's upsetness and anxiety over that event, as I'm sorry to say, it did not come from seeing Damien in pain, but was the fact that his spells were not working in the way that he thought due to his already not strained but failing connection to the stars. So to him, it was a bigger moment, which afterwards he realized was, yeah, Damien is extraordinarily distraught over this. But that was where my processing was, and I think that answers the question.
Absolutely. Was there any particular thought that Thelthu had about, like, did he come to a conclusion about what he thought caused the difficulty? Was there anything else besides I know you said that you thought it was, he kind of thought it was his failing connection to the stars, but...
It was the failing connection was he doesn't get clear messages and he can't get clear messages. He didn't know what the right answer was. So he assumed, Guiding Bolt would have been the right answer. It wasn't. Well, now what? But I don't think at the moment he realized it, any sort of, idea or something. But the current running theory, when Damien later mentioned, I wrote it down. It was something of, I want to get the words right. Give me one quick second. Something along the lines of, She was a stubborn person, which I am translating as, well, it's a stubborn soul. Maybe there was a reason why, I don't know, something else. I didn't really flesh it out, but the idea from what Delthu knows, and I know in character about the nature of souls in this land and world, they go up to the stars, and if they're raised as dead, they're in pain. Well, maybe something else happened there. Why would it be stubborn? Maybe it's stubborn as the soul just doesn't want to shift, and it was great effort to raise in the first place, and now it's resistant to change once more. But no, there's no solid answer he has other than the soul is stubborn, which means something.
Fair enough. Moving on from that heavier question, we go to Gia for some a bit more. We'll start with the a bit more in-depth question of the two.
Okay.
For you, and then we'll move into the fun one. One of the questions that we did get from the listeners was, why does Chatwin wear gloves and not like to be touched?
That does get into a little bit of spoiler territory, so I won't elaborate fully. But it's clear that Chatwin is a woman who has gone through a lot in her lifetime. And part of it manifested itself in her as she has this severe psychological and physical reaction because of events in the past that make it, I don't know if I made it clear, but specifically, I don't think she likes being touched at all in general, but specifically it's her hands that are the main focus, which is why she wears the gloves, which is why she washes her hands so much. She has a specific obsession with her hands because of certain events that have happened, that they're the best way I can say it is that they are actually extremely sensitive. Her hands are actually very sensitive. So the gloves are kind of dampeners. Like, in a way that, like, oh, my ears are very sensitive to loud sounds. Or my eyes are very sensitive to bright lights. Her hands are very sensitive to different sensations and touch. So that is why she wears the gloves, to kind of keep that a bit under control and keep herself a bit more calm, and just kind of gain that bit of control and peace a bit. I've never really drawn Chatwin without gloves, but I have described it on occasion that whenever she takes off her glove in a type of combat or roleplay scenario, that her hands appear mutilated and scarred. And since I've already kind of said that in game, I'm fine with kind of expanding on that a bit. Her hands are like, bits are missing. Like, pieces are missing from the skin and flesh in her hands. And that's clear to see when I mean massacred and mutilated. That is what I mean by pieces are missing from her hands specifically, which kind of leads to sensitivity. I'm not going to explain any of the why for any of that, but I mean, I feel like all of that is stuff that I've touched on in game, so I'm fine discussing it. But yeah, it's a lot of psychological and physical things going on with her hands, and it kind of reflects her mental state. I'm sure you may have noticed how she treats her hands and how she behaves with them.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the interesting, like, psychological aspects that I've seen you put into Chatwin, because there's so much, like, knowing what I know versus what little like bits and pieces the listeners can slowly pick up. And we'll get into that more as Chatwin's backstory kind of fully unfolds within the story.
I'm excited people noticed.
Here's another fun one of, like, little things that the listeners noticed.
Yeah.
this is phrased more fun, I guess.
Yeah.
When is Chatwin gonna stop lying to herself and admit that even she sweats?
Jeez.
That is how the question was phrased to me. Which is funny to me because, like, we know the reality, but explain why she does not actually sweat.
Oh god. Chatwin as a reborn. There's some things that are like backstory stuff. There's some things I just thought would be fun to add on for a reborn, like and like sort of how a normal body functions is one of them, because obviously I'm really into the body horror aspect of it, but also just the realism of someone being brought back from the dead. So for Chatwin as a reborn, I like to imagine realistically, does a dead body bleed? Does a dead body like sweat? Can you get a dead body drunk? Like stuff like that. Part of it was just the realism for me, because as a reborn, that's how I built Chatwin as a reborn. She's undead, and I pictured her as a very realistic, kind of visceral version of undead. She is a walking corpse. So that's so some of it was just fun character creation for me, and just trying to imagine what would it actually like be like for a walking corpse. And that's just kind of how I imagined, just like stiff, unfeeling, nothing going on. The body isn't functioning because there's nothing like what's keeping it going, not the heartbeat. uh like stuff like that is kind of how I've imagined it. So some of it is for the ha-has, but some of it is just because I have always thought it would be interesting to build an undead character in that sort of realistic way.
Yeah, definitely. And it has come together very interestingly in Chatwin, which is why I'm excited to see where everything goes moving forward.
God, especially with last episode.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Now we step on to someone a little less dead, and we speak to Jeremy about Damien.
Hello, everyone. I'm Damien. I'm here to answer your questions.
So we'll get to the fun question right off the bat. And sorry, Auden, I did rephrase this a little bit because I know you asked that question when it was a little earlier in the show. And Damien had not become the entire party dad yet. He was only the dad to like one or two characters. But how does it feel having a new group of adopted kids?
Oh, to be honest, it's kind of refreshing. To some degree, both of Damien's kids have moved out a while ago, so he's kind of been alone. And when his wife passed, he was very, very lonely. It's nice to feel needed by other people sometimes, even if it's just asking for like love advice or the such. And even if Chatwin denies it, Damien still views Chatwin as a sort of daughter, and he wants to help her because he knows that something's wrong, but he doesn't know exactly what. Um, and Delthu as well. He seems lost, and Damien would like to help him with that.
Still not my dad.
Yes.
I'll accept father-in-law later.
Fuck off.
Hell yeah.
No.
What a perfect opportunity.
That's beautiful.
You love to see it. Love to see it.
That is funny to kind of speak to, like, obviously Aelon hasn't been there longer, but there is kind of that duality of, like, Rubo very heavily sees Damien as, like, his father figure, and Aelon is more kind of with Thelthu in that he's more independent and, like, doesn't seek out that fatherly role.
Well, that's fine. They don't need to be like my children. They're friends, and I'd like to help them.
Fair enough. Well, moving on to a more interesting question that'll be more of a Jeremy answer than a Damien answer, I feel. If Damien's artificer magic is more innate than magic based, why did it manifest now and not earlier?
So there's a few things that come to that, and that is that Damien has never made armor or weapons before in his entire life. He has made horseshoes or tools, um, and he's never been in a stressful situation where those skills would become useful. I like to picture that his mending skill has always been active. He uses it to repair tools, he uses it to repair things. But the other violent magic, there's never been a need for it.
Which is why it's so unhinged now.
Yep, and dormant.
Mm.
And then it is exploding out because now he's finally utilizing it and releasing it. So it's coming out wave after wave after wave.
Interesting. And second part to the question, does he know or think his daughter has any of those same magical talents?
I would say that he doesn't know, right? Because he's probably never seen her use magic. And if she does, she probably never showed it to him because it's not something inside his wheelhouse that he would understand.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that she does, and he's probably thinking about that now, that it's kind of just like exploding out over and over and over again with his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And if he meets his daughter, that's definitely a conversation he'd like to have with her.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Damien, for answering those questions for us.
Well, that's not a problem at all, lass.
And we move on now from father to son. Last
Thank you,
but not
Papa.
least, we have Rubo. Or
So-
Nathan to answer Rubo's questions.
It is Nathan. I can't let Rubo out of his jail cell when I'm not actually playing him. It's too chaotic.
That's fair. So Nathan then, how does Rubo not know he's an Aasimar? Was he an orphan, or was this somehow hidden from him?
Rubo doesn't know he's an Aasimar because he does not remember his early years of life or know his parents. And he looks like a human, so he just, other than his eyes, he just assumes he's human. He's never met another Aasimar, at least that he knew that was an Aasimar. Like, he's never like met somebody who's like, "Yo, bro, I'm an Aasimar and I also have shiny golden eyes." Like, maybe they don't have that. He just doesn't know. So he just assumes he's a human. Like, there's really nothing else to that because he doesn't know his family, which is why he's kind of seeking his own family. That's pretty easy answer, honestly. Like, he just doesn't have a family history to, like, he can't call up his papa and ask, and he just assumes he's human because he looks like a human.
That is completely fair.
He just thinks he has really rad eyes, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Those are some pretty cool eyes, though. Not gonna lie. But that is all we have for fan questions. So again, thank you to Auden and TJ for sending us in those questions and getting the discussion going. We really appreciate it.
We all thank you except for Rosie, because again, Rosie hates our fans.
Fuck you, Auden and TJ. Fuck you. Fuck you in particular.
Oh my god.
No more questions. None.
No more.
I don't even know what the word for no
she's,
is. And
she's the
Okay.
BBG of our fan base.
Hey, negative impact is still good impact, especially in media.
DM Emma,
Yes.
do we have time to maybe ask each other one or two questions?
Yeah. We can go around and have I can allow everyone to ask each other one question.
Start with Gia. She asked.
What is everyone's like genuine thoughts when when seeing Chatwin do things like the hands yanking her jaw apart, or like the embers burning beneath split flesh, like horrible, like disturbing things like that. When seeing things like that, do you think there's a part of your characters that's like actually like terrified or scared of Chatwin in any way? Like, because people have been handling it pretty well, I must say. If you saw your friend doing those things actually in real life, honestly, your guys' reactions are pretty calm and collected.
Especially for only knowing each other like a week.
Yeah.
So in Damien's defense, he has never seen a man with wings, a lizard person, or an elf for that matter. So a lot of things going on he has no idea about, and having no idea means that he doesn't know if what you're doing is normal or not.
He just thinks half elves are like that.
Yes, yes, he does.
In Elon's case, honestly, I think I'm not going to carry you on my back anymore. But I was more worried at the boat incident than the magic part of it. Like, because the boat incident was like, nah, fam, we're good.
You know what's fun? You expect that the body horror magic comes from my better half. The way I imagine it, the body horror aspect does not at all. It comes that's completely Chatwin's side. That's how I've always pictured it.
Right. I can answer for Thale too. I think it is off-putting, right? Like the first one was like the glass, like just going in the skin, like that. I feel like it was like a corner of his eye type of thing. But he's not one to judge, as he can like constellation magic and kind of conjure up things, which sure isn't as creepy, but like it's magic, right? It has to be magic. It's not. Yeah. It's not normal. It's magic. So magic. I mean. It is off-putting, but he's not in a position to say anything with his starry limbs and all that.
I'm not one to judge. So what if hands come out of her throat?
Yeah, it's some sort of magic. It's whatever. It may not be wholesome magic, but
just reborn things.
Okay, who has the next question?
Oh, I have a question for you, Miss DM lady.
Uh-oh. Okay.
My question for you is very simple.
Okay.
Would you say that what you did to Damien in the last few sessions is the worst thing you're going to do to Damien, or just the tip of the iceberg?
Hold on. Don't answer that, Emma.
Okay.
Jeremy, I'm worried of what happens if your daughter dies.
Listen here, lady. I already cried the session that Damien's wife died. Like Jeremy cried, and I don't cry very often.
And Emma felt guilty for that.
That shook me because I was so in character that I was like in my mind visually playing Sarah as a zombie and having to watch somebody kill her, and I just like lost it.
That's so fucking cute. I hate it.
Who else needs to ask their question?
I got one if you want some time to think.
Hell yeah.
Mine is short. I guess it's sorry, Emma, you may not be able to answer it, but for at least everyone else as a character, I've kind of realized I did this recently, so I'm curious if anyone else does. Do you have one word or one like short idea to describe what either inspired you to make your character or your character is based on? Because for Daelthu, it's faith in something. I have another character who is fear of being forgotten. So something like that describes your character or their creation process or something.
I have 2 words for Damien, and mine would be protective and dad.
Rubos just wants love.
Oh.
Bring the mood down, sorry.
No.
Looking for love, no.
It is not just romantic love. He's not just horny all the time. I would have said horny if that was his thing.
Yeah.
That's not Alfie.
He's not Alfie. I think Chatwin would be not quite single word but phrase, kind of related to what she was saying to the Fae. Just going through the grief process. Like, we'll see more of it, but Chatwin's going through 5 stages of grief in game.
It's a little harder for me because character creation for Elon was a long time ago. And I really just wanted to be like, nobody chose to be from Kriath. And I'm like, I want to be from Kriath. And I was it was kind of like NPC to start, maybe. Now it literally seems like Legend of Zelda Link.
The drawing I did didn't help.
Your drawing was like, I just looked at it and I said, "Oh fuck, I've made a Link character." Like the hair and in the front and stuff. I'm like, "Yep, I've done it."
I like all those character descriptions though. They're so fitting.
Emma, give a one sentence / word like description of the world.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Ooh.
good.
What's your or like the campaign? What's your like?
What's the vibe?
What's the tagline?
The tagline for the campaign? The whole idea behind this campaign in general was kind of the best way I can describe it being, here's a brand new world. Let's see what these players can do to it. But I did have some more. There is a bit more going on there under the surface. I think the way Faithrin kind of described it to Alon in his prequel is very fitting. There are many paths being made. They just haven't been connected yet.
It feels very much like the world itself is in a cycle of reincarnation, and this is just its newest phase. Like, it is at the very beginning of its like newest reincarnated like life. It feels like so ancient, like there's so much history with like gods and stuff, but at the same time like just totally brand new, which feels very cool.
I'd like to piggyback on Chatwin's on the question, or Chatwin's answer to that last question, by the way,
Okay.
and kick her in the teeth of her soul. So you said Chatwin is explained by being the 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Which stage would you consider Santhavek?
It's easy to say anger, but that doesn't feel right to me. I think they're
Nope.
going through it together, to be honest.
I'd say Santhavek was probably created through denial.
I think they're going
Denying.
either they're going through it together or Sandvik is already on acceptance. All or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, the way I saw it is I was like, Santhavek was created through the denial of what happened.
Mm.
But I like that. That makes sense.
I would say which stage Chatwin's in, but she's in one of them.
All of them at once. And
All of them at once. She's gonna speed run the 5 stages of grief.
I'd say she's getting pretty damn close to bargaining at this point because she's starting to try and bargain with Santhavek.
I wrote notes. Nathan, did you come up with a question?
I do have. I might have just a quick question because I feel like it's going to get shut down.
Okay, here we go.
Alon, who's James?
So to explain that, while
No, don't tell him.
well,
James
I
is
wasn't gonna.
mine.
I wasn't gonna say who it is. I was gonna explain why the question was asked, and then you
Oh,
can decide
yes.
whether or not you want to answer it. Because we did bring up that Rubo saw the letter that Alon wrote, and I sent through private message the actual text of the letter because it was
In
sent to
part.
me in part because he only saw part of the letter.
Yeah.
And James was a name that was used in that letter.
I don't know if I could. I guess I could share the like last line where I cut off, and what I get to know is just if James,
Yep.
and that's all I got to know.
Damn.
So I say,
Okay.
who the fuck is James?
Okay, so it's funny because I just picked a name for another guard, and of all the names I had to pick James. No offense, almost every James I've met has been pretty much an asswipe, including my
That's
dad.
my middle name.
All right. So because of that, I'm gonna root for Team A-Lames
Damn. Now I'm
or
sad.
Jamlon.
But
Jaylon?
James,
Jaylon.
Jamelon?
Jamelon,
I'm gonna vote for Team Jaylon. Sorry, Rubo.
James is
Rulon
a
forever.
human that is a part of the guards that is basically Elon's like best friend. If he could, Elon won't say best friend, but probably best friend and also superior. But I would like to say that Elon also has a tattoo on his neck, and it's not that he's necessarily trying to hide it. It's just when we get a downtime, I will probably mention it.
Oh.
And I would What
if
happened?
if it says something about James on there,
No,
It's James's name.
But Elon got
James with a
drunk.
heart.
Elon got drunk
James
and
plus
decided to
A.
go get a tattoo, which is a big no-no. And I want to say that James was definitely a part of that.
J plus A
Oh yeah.
in a heart.
He definitely pushed
It
Elon like,
says
yeah,
J
do
plus
it.
A, I'm gonna be so sad. Rubo doesn't need his heart broken again.
Team Jalon for the win. Oh, it's all right, Rubo. It'll happen a lot. Trust me, it happens to everybody.
As bad as it sounds, I think Elon would go for James. I don't want to think about that though.
Oh.
Dang. Rubo's sad.
And then James breaks Alon's heart, and Rubo's the
For
bounce
all
back.
I know, James is a co-conspirator in something bigger, so that would probably never happen.
Good.
Ooh.
Is that all the questions everyone had?
So you're saying there's a
So you're
chance.
saying there's a chance.
And now we've created a ship war in the span of a singular.
Jalon or Rulon? Rulon forever, baby.
Move on forever.
You guys know why it's Jalon and Rulon and not Alames and Ailbo?
Because
Why?
elbow.
No, because Alon's the bottom.
God fucking.
And with that,
On that note, is that all the
What a
questions we
great
have?
way to end.
I believe so.
Thank
So
you, Andrew.
He's a soldier. He likes taking orders.
Oh,
I think we're gonna
Lord.
go ahead and leave off our little Q&A there for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for listening. If you liked listening to our cookie conversations and want some more of us and our characters, please go follow us on social media. We are Chronicles of Kriath Pod, all lowercase, all one word, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we also have a YouTube channel called Chronicles of Kriath Podcast, where you can listen to all of our episodes in full if you would rather not go to your favorite podcast app. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will see you next time for the start of our second arc.
Yeah, yup.
Bye.
Yup, better
Bye.
fucking
All right,
listen.
bye.
bye.
Ah!
Rulon forever.